Hello, everybody. My name is Lord WizKid, and I might sound a little bit different today. I'm not actually Verbalocity, who usually does the introduction to our cast, but that's because we don't have Verbalocity today. Instead, I'm joined here by the fantastic OCE caster, Wufin. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Just excited to see some SEA gameplay here.
Yeah, and so already going to be seeing a couple of bans going through. Thor is going to be the first ban for Archipelago. Now, these are the two fantastic little teams. We saw Loyal last time around actually being pretty good. They very nearly were able to actually take a game off. Oh, it was no, they did actually take a game off. Get my level, sorry. Just completely forgot it. They did actually take a game, and that was after they did their roster swaps to finally get into their actual roster, and it looks like that's what we've got here today, so could be pretty good for the side of Archipelago. Well, for Loyal.
We actually see 4 assassins getting banned here in the start of this match. Now, I'm not too familiar with the SEA scene, but 4 assassins clearly means that the junglers on both teams are going to be very strong.
Yes, they are very good junglers, as you can see in the it's Apex over on the side of Loyal and Jimmy Massey on the side of Archipelago. Apex, we saw, has this fantastic god pool where he can really sort of open it up quite often. We've seen him play Ao Kwong, we've seen him play, I believe, I've seen a couple of circuits on him. He's got pretty good combats as well, so making sure that these assassins are banned out is a fantastic idea. However, Archipelago banned out the right assassins and was able to leave Susano open, which is what they've locked in. Going to be fantastic for them.
Yeah, but you can't take it away from the Fafnir-Ramba combination. Both that support and ADC are extremely strong in the current meta. Though the Bologna response is going to be quite nice at shutting down Rama there with the disarm. And we actually see Ganesh getting picked up as well.
Yeah, Ganesh, just again, another fantastic support. Probably not on the same level as some of the others, at least currently, just because people have yet to sort of get quite fully into him and try and discover exactly what he's best at. He does definitely have some problems in major team fights, but the Dharmic Pillars really do help him, allow him to get a huge amount of slowing and damage out, just not that insane crowd control that someone like Geb, for example, would do.
Yeah, and as we see the Osiris response here, Ganesh is definitely a very different support to every other support that's been implemented into Smite because of how the his assist passive works. He plays in a very different way, and his CC is a lot more reactive as well, but he's very good at protecting a carry. So we haven't seen what carry has been picked up for Archipelago yet, but they can definitely pick up something a bit more fragile, like possibly an Artemis or something to complement with the Ganesh's overall protections and assist to get them fed into the late game.
Yeah, we haven't even been able to talk about this yet. This is actually a normal match. This it sounds like it's crazy that I'm saying it's a normal match. We've got Dracula V on the side of Archipelago, who is a pretty good solo laner and is well known for not doing normal things. He's normally on Yana solo lane, or I believe the most normal I have seen him is Chuck. But there's a Bologna here, and since Susano and Ganesh were also locked in, that's most likely a Bologna solo. With the Cupid and Noir sort of confirming it, it still could be a Noir solo. I don't know. Again, the mid laner for the side, so Slicey is pretty fantastic as well, but it's most likely a Bologna solo, and it's odd to see him on such a normal pick. Whereas on the other side, Loyal have gone for a Nox and a Ravan. Ravan, again, relatively normal. Nox is somewhat normal. We see her a couple of times in EU, but it's not that common.
I mean, the Nox can synergize quite well with having multiple warriors here. She can get those roots in to help her warriors actually bully them out as well, and she'll have extremely strong burst potential to help out the lack of assassin burst in that jungle role.
Yeah, but we are into game now, so you should see Archipelago on the Order side and Loyal on the Chaos side, looking like it could be a bit of an interesting early game start. And again, big thing to notice, Osiris has not gone for a Relic. It looks like he wants to try and do the sort of normal Southeast Asia start.
I'm just having some technical difficulties here getting into the replay, so I'll just need to take a moment there.
All right. Well, luckily it's not going to be too long until we start to get into this game. A little bit of damage happening currently. Sorry, I believe we are actually having some technical difficulties currently, so we are just going to be right back. Hopefully, don't go anywhere. We will see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for that delay. We are right back into the game here. Let's see where the teams are starting here. What do you think each team should start with in regards to their junglers?
Well, I mean, it looks like everybody's sort of going to try and potentially start normally having that 2-on-2
Can you
mid
turn
meta.
Wolfen's volume a little bit down extreme?
However, it looks like actually Bill HK is going to be starting off in the mid lane here. Meanwhile, Apex is actually going to be helping out on the side of the solo lane with Team Loyal. Maybe looking to get an early first blood, perhaps? It's going to be quite difficult considering they only have a root and a slow early on. So maybe just instead looking for a bit of jungle clear, trying to get into this blue buff potentially. Just a bit interesting to see Apex over here. Actually didn't get spotted out. This could be pretty bad for Dracula V.
Yeah, it looks like the support starting in the mid lane here is due to Rama just being extremely safe here. He can just play back, and a Cupid and Ganesh is not really going to be causing him any problem whatsoever. So getting that bit of extra pressure in the solo lane because of having the jungler there is going to be really quite nice for them.
Yeah, it definitely is. But Dracula already stuck here, taking damage with Sunder. First blood already going to Team Loyal. And now that's going to be able to get them the blue buff and speed buff. Not to mention, though, Archipelago did take out those fire elementals. Looking for the speed buff potentially as well. Looks like Archipelago could actually take it. And Dracula V's TP'd back into lane.
Yeah, so looking at the speed buff, we actually see Loyal actually stealing out the speed buff here. Now they're engaging onto Jimmy Massey, but he looks like using his Susano mobility, he's be able to be safe and sound now. Nox throwing out her root there as well. But we saw that start with the jungler in the solo lane being really effective for them there, actually picking them up first blood.
Not to mention, Apex is actually still over here. They're now level 2 as well. Dracula V could be punished with his life again. This is looking bad for him. He's just used his bludgeon. Another kill. Apex is going to go 2-0 up already. That's not going to feel nice for Dracula V at all.
Not only is it not nice to die in general, the fact that the two early game Bruiser bully warriors get the experience for both of those kills is going to be absolutely monstrous, and I'm expecting Team Loyal to really start snowballing a lot earlier than normal in this game.
Well, yeah, Slicey is going to get caught out there, forced to use the beads to make sure he gets away. Jimmy Massey now actually going to try and turn on to Kami, who doesn't have any abilities left. Unfortunately, that disarm was just enough, but Slicey, though, caught out by Apex on rotation.
But we actually see Ganesh and Kirip here coming in as a rotation here into the mid lane. Apex is getting quite low here on the Ravana. He doesn't actually have his immunity available, and Kirip actually picks up that kill onto the Cupid. That's his first kill there to try and get him some XP in the ADC role.
Yeah, now Jimmy Massey is up against 4 of them. This is not exactly somewhere you want to be. Again, another silence and root combination going to come out. Massey going to fall down to Kami there. Did get a bit of damage off, but not enough to be able to actually get anywhere near free. So this is starting to snowball for Team Loyal. Just completely 100%. Apex is already 3 kills up. We're not even 3 minutes into this game. Then on top of that, you've also got an extra kill on Kami, who you don't want a Nox fed early. That's even worse almost than having a Raven fed early, because the Nox is going to be able to do more damage, get more cooldown, and make sure that those beads are either off cooldown or you're dead.
Yeah, and as we see the fire elementals here getting contested and going to the side of Loyal, they're actually going to go ahead and engage onto Dracula. Huge damage come out of Apex's ultimate, and he actually manages to pick up Dracula. He's been bullied and bullied so hard that it feels like he's not tanky at all.
Yeah, it's a big problem currently. He needs to stop fighting these guys, because he's not going to be able to do it. Just end up clearing underneath tower, or just not doing anything, because currently it's worse for him just to keep on dying so much.
Yeah, and it's almost been a duo lane here over in the solo lane. You've got 2 warriors, and 2 warriors are going to beat 1 warrior. I mean, there's no question about that. And now, you know, in synergy with the Nox's root and CC capability, they're going to be doing a lot of damage and have a lot of gank potential.
Yeah, and just look how fast they are clearing with it. Kero does actually find Sixer in the duo lane on his own, so that's a nice little solo kill. Going to keep Archipelago going a little bit longer, but Gio's actually here, stopping yet again this invade coming out on the speed. Looks like Massey could be punished again, though.
Taking huge damage from multiple ultimates there. Massey is trying to escape back, manages to use his teleport to get away here. Now Apex is looking for a kill onto Gio here, but Gio being the tank he is, manages to get away, but Loyal do manage to secure that speed buff here. I mean, what's going to be the saving grace here?
Solo lane,
Archipelago?
Dracula V probably going to be dying again here. Unfortunately, no
definitely.
escape.
Yeah, and
Yeah, just
Absolutely
everyone
right.
else on the team, Loyal, just wanted to come say hi as well, just to make sure.
you know, the assist XP, you know, that's always relevant. And
I
mean,
actually love this coming out from Loyal, though. I just need to say that Loyal are doing this fantastic
That's
job.
no
But
problem.
they know that Dracula V is normally a very bully style of character. He goes out and does ridiculous things like playing Giannis going behind the tier 2 tower. But instead, what they're going to do is they're going to shut him down and do it real hard so that Sir Eclipse is going to be mostly ahead nearly all of this game. As you can see, he's already got a level 2 level lead. Dracula V actually having to use Eagle's Rally to get away and probably going to be falling down again. Or not! Oh, that's so close!
He survives!
If Sir Eclipse had actually gone in there, that could have been another kill, but they're just bullying Dracula out. He's making sure that they just cannot go into this. He just TP'd. His TP is down for another 160 seconds. And I think he's already been back to base about 7 times already. This is such a difficult lane for him to deal with all of a sudden, and he's been put so far behind that suddenly it makes Archipelago's plans just completely fly out the window.
Yeah, now, but I actually do respect what Massey's doing here. Instead of actually going to try and babysit his solo laner who's already quite behind, we see the Ganesh actually doing that role instead. He's actually been trying to gank several times in the duel lane to try and get Kirip far ahead as possible, because he's the only person on the team who has got positive kill KD ratio. You see him 2-0 and 0, the Cupid doing quite well for himself in this dual lane matchup. He does have the hearts to sustain himself in lane, so he's doing quite a good job for his team, and he really needs to pull it through to try and help carry his team throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah, I mean, he is playing a Cupid, and you're up against a Ram, which early on, although has some fantastic, really quick clear in the first couple of levels, he really starts to suffer since you don't get that pick-me-up too often until you sort of hit about level 3, level 4 of that ability, which means that normally your clear is actually relatively slow. So compared to someone like a Cupid who can very easily punish you, especially using that heart bomb which explodes on top of you, and you need to be right next to the wave to really get enough of Ram's astral arrows off, you quite often end up by getting stunned or just losing everything.
We actually see the Eagles rally coming out into the solo lane, and both solo laners just get away scot-free there. That was extremely close there. Sorry to interrupt. Though you are right with the Rama clear being a bit weak early on. That was quick.
Yeah, that was very quick. Immediately just Raven ultimate into Nox ultimate. Although those two do have those damage increase. Actually, I think it might be a damage reduction on the side of Nox. Yeah, it is. But it's still a huge amount of damage that will be coming out onto them. And just he had no chance of getting away, especially as he just used his ultimate already to try and kill Shiktuk, which, speaking of, down he goes.
Yeah, I just love what Archipelago is doing here to respond. Even though they're quite far behind, they're still trying to focus on the lane that is winning, and they managed to get Kirip another kill there, so that's going to be really good for getting him into the late game. Though Cupid is not exactly the strongest hunter in the late game, definitely going to lose that matchup overall to the Ram, but he can still hold out his own. He does have the attack speed on his dash, and he also has a very strong ultimate one combination for some really nice burst in CC.
And I mean, not to mention as well, Cupid is actually a really good hunter. It's just not... He doesn't have as strong in-hand as a Ram does, which does make his late game a little bit worse. Yet, he has this insane amount of damage, but we do actually see, though, Jimmy Massey, a little bit careful, not going to be able to get hit by the root load. Apex is still chasing under tower. The ultimate's going to come out from Typhoon. Already, Apex is down!
Yeah, he gets absolutely punished there. He didn't have his immunity up. Not sure why he wasn't looking into that cooldown when diving under the tower. Now we actually see Bill HG going to take the wrath from that as well. He does manage to pick up Massey, but Dracula getting online now picks up Bill HG there. We see Sixuk really trying to fall back here, but Kirip manages to get the in-hand onto him as well. And now we actually see Geo diving under the tower, trying to get Kami killed here, but he's managing not to go into those pillars there. He's still alive on such low health, and he does manage to dodge and get away free. But we see Kirip actually pick up Kami from the backline.
Sir Eclipse is the only one left, as Apex has already respawned and is slowly coming back power, but it's not going to be enough. Kirip taking out another one on the side of Archipelago. They've just evened this entire game up. They didn't take down that tier 1 tower, though, but that does not matter. They've killed the entire team of Team Loyal.
It seems like Dracula has finally actually started having an impact in this game because he was getting camped for so long, and as soon as you see that jungle pressure is actually starting to rotate over to the dual lane, you just see how he can get into that middle lane and use that huge Bologna ultimate and disarm for such devastating effect.
Yeah, I mean, you've always got to be careful of the Bologna. She's probably one of the few warrior supports that you can be sure that she doesn't matter too much if she gets behind. She definitely doesn't like it, especially as far behind as she was, but now she's just been able to actually equal Sarah Eclipse. I mean, if we have a look at the gold lead between them, so the total net worth, you can see that actually Sarah Eclipse is still ahead by 100. He died 4 times in lane. He got put back 7 times, and he's 100 gold behind. How?
I don't know. Dracula's just been farming efficiently. As you said, he's a bully character, so he sure definitely knows how to farm. As we actually see Kami here going to get ganked by Kirip, and now Ganesh coming in the back line with that silence. Huge damage coming onto Kami there, but it looks like he might try and survive, but no, Kirip picks that up with the in-hand near. Now Fafnir is looking mighty fine in danger. He actually uses the leap. Is he alive? No, Kirip comes in with a dash. Huge damage coming out from this carry roll here as we see Sixu really not wanting to go into that fight, so he's going to go ahead and back off, but Kirip is really starting to get online with this shift to shield build. 8-0 and 2, he's absolutely carrying at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ridiculous amount of gold in his pocket, and Gold Fury is going to add even more to this. Looks like he's even going into a Fatalis just to be able to get that extra pen and attack speed. Apex, though, this is not a corner you want to be looking through. Luckily, with that speed boost from the speed buff, he's going to be able to get away a little bit faster than normal. Jimmy Massive pulling him in. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to kill him unless they dive on tower, though.
Now, Fatalis is almost a luxury item at this point with all the cost increases. Yeah. But what Kirip is going to be allowed to do with this Fatalis is being a bit of an advantage in that attack in-hand fight, as we see him Dracula unfortunately getting taken under the tower. But I really like this idea of Kirip picking up this Fatalis because it's actually going to give him an advantage overall in the in-hand fight with Sixu.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about Fatalis a lot. It's been a while since I've actually really got into it, but Fatalis is just such a fantastic item that it doesn't matter what cost it will be. As long as it's got penetration, as long as it's got movement speed and attack speed, and it has that insane base movement penalty reduction, suddenly Kirip is going to be feeling absolutely monstrous as soon as he gets this up. Alongside that shift to shield, extra 70 physical power, he doesn't need to worry about that sort of transcendence that he doesn't need to get because it's actually a little cheaper than a transcendence and provides only slightly less physical power for insane amounts of protections, which means that suddenly Sixer can't actually fight him too well. Now that means that Sixer needs to sit down and think, how do I counter this, get some more penetration, maybe even look for a lifesteal potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him going into Devour's Gauntlet after this, or maybe Executioner, but somehow they need to shut down Kirip, because he's just going destruction. But mid lane, though, Apex
was taking a lot of damage there. We actually see the Susanoo ultimate thrown out onto him, but he's looking like he'll get away scot-free here. And just talking about that the Rama build there, I'd actually like to see him pick up Asai, because it gives him both the lifesteal and the attack speed along with a little bit of penetration. I think that would go ahead and help him a lot in that boxing department here. But we actually see a lot of people grouping up on this right side.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Nasi, just because he really does need some power, though. But it looks like Dragon Form is actually going to be used by Bill HK. Not sure who he wants to go on. Was actually trying to get the speed buff, but unfortunately Archipelago have stolen it away. Wasn't it only like 10 minutes ago we were seeing Loyal stealing Archipelago speed buff? When did it turn this way around where Kirip is just going to get an immediate kill onto Kami? Meanwhile, though, Solar Eclipse finishes off Dracula V again, yet there's another fight in solo lane.
Yeah, as we see Bill HK here just getting out of Dragon Form now. He's a bit vulnerable when he's getting out of it, but he actually does manage to pop a shell there. But now the Cupid ultimate doesn't actually manage to catch him because he had a sprint on him. But actually, Sixshot gets picked up by Kirip. Kirip doing so much damage in these fights. Age is forced out though because he might take a lot of damage here. Actually picks up a heart there to try and keep himself alive, and he does manage to dash away here, allowing the rest of his team to try and take the front line. He's really low here, so you might need to be careful. But the rest of Loyal is actually backing off, so Kirip can help his team pick up that right side tower. That's all 3 tier 1 towers.
Massey, I've got to shout you out there. You were actually very much working for Team Loyal. Used the pole, yet somehow managed to use it to knock them outside of the Fields of Love. Okay, no. No, luckily it didn't steal it. For a moment, I thought Kami was going to steal it using the Nox ultimate. Unfortunately, though, for the side of Loyal, they don't get it, but a lot of damage happened.
He picked up Slicey! He just ran through the archipelago and just picked up Slicey. They didn't protect him whatsoever.
Welcome to OCE, Woofin. How do you like us now?
OCE? This is SEA. I'm pretty sure OCE is quite a professional scene, I'll have you know.
Oh yeah, it's insanely professional.
Would never do something like that.
Yeah, Jimmy Massey though, on his own 1v5 potentially, gonna use the Typhoon to knock them up into the tower. Apex very low on HP, already down. Jimmy Massey gonna be taking that kill credit. Kirip though nearly dead, is now dead. Six is gonna be taking that one. Dragonfall is going to go in. Dracula V nearly getting stopped by his own Dharmic Pillars. And now Bill HK gonna stun out Dracula V here. They really want to go in, diving there. Unfortunately, he has very little mana. Slice is back in, but he doesn't have much to go in. His ultimate's down. Everything else is down. Only Kirip has his ultimate up, but even then, no need to go in with just the Fields of Love. So instead, it looks like both Archipelago and Loyal are going to back away.
I mean, looking at this game, the picks are pretty meta, pretty standard, but the gameplay has just been all around sloppy. We're just seeing team fights just happen randomly all across the map, not really focusing on the objective so much. We've seen one Gold Fury and one Portal Demon at this point. The Gold Fury actually spawning now. So I'm really looking to see teams contest that right away as we see Dracula actually trying to see if he can find some sort of pick there, but 3 members of Loyal, he's not going to jump into that.
Yeah, and now Archipelago just sort of looking to try and get a bit of farm. They are ahead, surprisingly, even though that was a terrible start for the Archipelago. They are ahead. If you go and have a quick look at the graphs, you can see it's about 4k experience and 2.2k gold. So it's not a huge lead, but considering the fact that Dracula V just got down so many times early on, and they've been able to come back from that, that's nuts. But Gold Jury going to be started up again. Bill HK is here, though.
Yeah, Archipelago do manage to secure that, and now they're going to go ahead and try and get on Bill HK, but he does manage to use a leap there to get out, and now Geo is actually taking a lot of damage, does manage to put out the Dharmic Pillars there, but he's extremely low himself. Shell is on him now, and does he manage to survive? No, he doesn't. He gets picked off there. Now we see Sarah Clips actually doing a lot of damage for his team. They're actually just bursting Dracula. Apex managing to pick up that kill. I mean, it's really interesting to see how Sarah Clips is actually evolving in this fight. He's got almost exactly the same amount of damage as Kirip on the Cupid. Both have 13.5k, and he's actually 4-1 and 8 now, so he's doing a lot for his team here.
Yeah, he's doing a huge amount, but the tier 1 tower is going to be falling again. Loyal finally going to take that out.
Yeah, that's their first map pressure there. I mean, if you look at that, Archipelago has already got 3 tier 1s, and that's Team Loyal's first, so that snowball that they were getting at the start didn't seem to transition into full effect. So, but now they're getting Sir Eclipse online. He's almost taking the position of carry here. I mean, Sixer's not doing particularly much.
Yeah, Sir Eclipse is just doing so much work. Sixer, unfortunately, just had problems early on. It was almost the sort of opposite of two worlds. On the side of the solo lane, we had Sir Eclipse absolutely dominating Dracula V. Meanwhile, on the other side of the land, Sixer just getting dominated by Kirip. We saw him die on the tower a ton of times. He actually, I think, got at least 2 or 3 solo kills, which compared to what Sir Eclipse was getting, which was actually Apex getting the kills and him getting the assist gold, that's a lot better. It's allowed Kirip to get this insane lead, and he's sitting at 10-1 currently compared to everything else. And again, go back to net worth, you can see that he's sitting right at the top with 10k gold, whereas it's actually Apex who is the highest for the side of Loyal. So that's where all the kills went, and that's unsurprisingly where everything else is going. And now again, just unfortunately, Seraclips is doing a lot of work. It's just not quite enough to try and fully counteract Kieran currently.
Dracula just taking so much damage here. It gets picked off by Apex as we see the Dharmic Pillars thrown out there by Geo to try and stave off the onslaught coming out for Loyal. And we see Kirip actually respond also with his ultimate. Slicey actually does manage to pick up Village. As we see Sixu picking up a kill onto Geo, and now Cupid is getting chased down. He is extremely low, but he does manage to use those honeypots there to heal himself up, which should normally be hearts. And as we see, Slicey actually gets picked off by Sixu. He's actually starting to pick up kills now, considering he's got that chin size, and he's, as soon as this Realmer gets online, Team Loyal is just going to be a lot more well-rounded team composition.
Karib actually forced to use the purification there.
Yeah,
unfortunately, this is looking very bad.
Seraclips actually might die himself, though, trying to pick up Jimmy Massey, but he does throw out the damage, picking up Jimmy Massey.
That was so close. A little second under tower, a bit longer, that would have been another kill going for the side of Archipelago, and actually probably evened it out a bit more. Unfortunately, though, the tier 2 tower has now gone down. That's going to be a much bigger gold lead, and again, go back to the gold graphs. Suddenly, it swung back down. It's minimally in favor of Loyal, but it is in favor of them. This is just going to be an interesting mountain range, I think, this entire game. It's going to go back and forth constantly.
I mean, looking at the team compositions here and how you said, as you said, the farm is going out, Kirip getting all the farm is not necessarily a good thing, because Team Loyal are, you know, their picks and bans are a lot more well-rounded. They've got carries, they've got bruises, they've got full-on tanks, but also they're splitting up the farm between all their players, so they're going to be effective all across the board instead of just one player. So if they just focus Kirip and pick him, the rest of Archipelago is not going to stand a chance.
Yeah, now Loyal's already taking the Fire Giant. Gio's got to be a little bit careful here. He's already on very low HP. The snipes are going to come through, doing a lot of damage to Jimmy Massey. Unfortunately, though, it's not going to be enough, as Kirip actually takes out Kami. Now they're going to be going in, using Eagle's Rally, looking for Apex. Bill HK is going to be the first one to fall, though, to Slicey. Now Sipsuk is looking, Aegis is going to be forced, and now the Honeypot is going to be able to finish him off. Kirip looking for Apex, maybe, but Eclipse is on his own versus 3. Going to be able to use the ultimate over the wall, but Dracula V is going to cut him off. He's actually chasing under tower. I think Dracula wants this. This is not what you do, Dracula. Look, I know you've done this on Giannis before, but it doesn't work. Don't bait yourself with your own tactics.
He doesn't have portal here, so he couldn't have possibly escaped. I don't really see why he's trying to siege up this mid lane. It's very unlikely that he's going to actually end up picking that tower, but I mean, looking at the rest of Loyal, 3 members down, just spawning back in, he might actually be able to pick up that tower. And yes, okay, his team is rotating in to pick up that tower.
Yeah, they just finished the tier 2 on the right-hand side, so they wanted to go for this one now. The rest of Loyal are back, though. Gio going to be stunned out by that Fafnir hammer, and he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Apex going to be taking that kill, and now Jimmy Massey just wanting to get away alongside Slicey, who doesn't have a huge amount of movement speed because he's playing Nuwa.
Yeah, Nuwa, despite being quite survivable with her ultimate and the stun from her earthen soldiers, she really can get picked off if her abilities are on cooldown. As we see Team Loyal capitalizing on this fact by going ahead and trying to start the Gold Fury, but Archipelago ready to respond.
No.
They have the whole team here. And the ultimate's coming out from Kira.
Yeah, and it looks like the Gold Fury's going to get leashed. It's not going to be stolen, unfortunately, as the ultimates have been coming out. Jimmy Massey taking so much damage in the backline, forced to use the Typhoon, is going to be able to knock a couple of people off as Loyal gets the Gold Fury. Unfortunately, though, for Archipelago, they just had to back away. I don't know if you saw it, but Kami tried using the ultimate. However, the Gold Fury didn't get leashed, and so it hit the Gold Fury instead of hitting Jimmy. And that was a free kill for Loyal if it did hit Jimmy. That was so unfortunate for them. Luckily, they are going to be able to at least start looking for more objectives. Gold Fury down, look for this tier 1 tower. I don't think anyone on the side of Archipelago can even attempt to try and face them currently, especially if they're on their own. Kirip just needs to get out of here.
I mean, Kirip is level 18 at this point. His next contender is actually Seraclips on level 18 as well, so he's nowhere near as one-man army as he was earlier in the game. He needs to realize this and probably play a little bit more passive, though his ultimates being thrown out constantly have been really helping his team try and control in these team fights. As we see Dracula just boxing a bit here, getting quite low, but he manages to get healed off by the Cupid here, and it looks like Loyal's just going to back off with that one tower. No, they're actually going to go in onto Geo, the root coming out, but no effect coming out there. Bill HK trying to jump in here, probably going to use his Fafnir ultimate. We actually see Kami forced to Aegis early on in the fight, so Kirip does manage to pick up that kill, and now we see another kill, double for Kirip there, picking up 6-hook, his enemy ADC at this point, and now he's going to get a triple kill. Are we going to find a penta here? No, Kirip's getting quite low. He needs to go ahead, back off and heal himself up. Apex is probably going to get picked off here by Jimmy Masters, and he does manage to get that. Kirip actually going in extremely far. He
Oh,
do that.
oh, that was so close. He actually only just survived due to, I believe it was Geo's passive going there, just making sure he had just enough protections to keep him alive a minuscule little longer. And that just meant that Archipelago completely decided loyal. They're going to be pushing down this left-hand lane, and although they're not going to be able to push into the Titan, they've taken down all of the towers, and they're going to take down at least the Phoenix here. Although Dracula's probably dead for it.
Oh, it looks like he's going to die. Dracula going quite aggressive there, but he does realize and backs off there. They pick up one Phoenix, and they really need to back off here. Dracula backing right in front of their faces. You called him a bully, and he's really bullying them with that back there, just saying, I'm a man. I'm going to back in your face.
We've had so little time this game to talk about build, so let's go look at Carrot's build. And my oh my, is this something special. I'm expecting a Kins here. I'd be surprised if it was anything different. There we go.
Yep,
but,
there you go.
Yeah, so shift a shield into a Fatalis, into a Crusher, into Kins. So he's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage versus Apex, who currently has a Shifters himself, and a Void Shield. And he's not going to be doing a whole lot versus Eclipse, who has a Mystical Mail and a Hide of the Nemean line. But he's going to be doing insane amounts of damage to Kami and Tuxuk, and even Bill, who, yes, he does have some of these items, but he's only got a Sov and a Gauntlet of Thieves. It's only about 100, 110 physical protections. He's not going to be doing all that much tanking, especially against someone like Garrett with the Hasten Fatalis and the Brawlers. Admittedly, he doesn't have the percentage penetration of an Executioner or a Titan's Bane, but he's doing enough penetration for at least Bill to take so much damage.
He's picking up that Titan's Bane, and I think they'll round out the build extremely well. I think that build is actually going to do a lot of damage to tanks, specifically as we see Eclipse here getting surrounded by Archipelago, and we see Kirip's auto attacks just slinging there, doing so much damage along with the rest of his team, but somehow Eclipse managed to try and ult away, but Slicey has that aimbot with his ultimate, picking up that kill there. And now Gio's running for his team, trying to see. Kami is so low, Gio's not managing to quite pick that up, but now we see the Frenzy pop, and Kirip successfully picking up Kami there, and we see Six actually doing a return ultimate there on the realm and picking up Slicey in response, but now Apex is getting extremely low. He's already used his immunity, but he does manage to back off here, but Bill HK somehow gets the heal off,
Bracer,
making him stay alive there. Bracer, ladies and gentlemen, what a relic.
I think I saw 4 or 5 different braces being popped in that fight as Kirip finally finishes off 6-hook in the backline. But that was just hilarious watching them go to literally about 10 HP and then just going all the way back up to half health. Apex, though, doesn't have his bracer anymore. He's taking so much damage, he's going to get stunned by this. He's dead! Nowhere to go. Jimmy Massey finally finished him off. A second Phoenix is going to go down to Archipelago, and this could very well be the end if they wanted to. But looks like the rest of Archipelago wants to go out, except Dracula V and Kirip.
Looks like the rest of the team
might
back him up there. So close to dying, both members of Archipelago. Jim Macy actually picks up Kami there instead, but now looks like he might get picked off here himself, but no, he's dancing successfully, picking up the honeybees, and that is the Titan, ladies and gentlemen. That was my first SEA game, and I have to say, it was pretty intense.
Did you enjoy it?
I mean, I can't say I didn't enjoy it.
It's a very interesting meta, but it is amazing to watch. Brace is just doing so much work there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the SPL, which is actually starting later today with the Bracer meta coming out and the Sunder meta slowly decreasing.
Every hero's Hercules.
Really sort of is. Yeah, if we go and have a quick look at Loyal's builds, you can actually see they had 3 Braces of Undoing on their side. And unfortunately for them, that wasn't enough to be able to win because Kirip, 17-11 on this Cupid.
Can we get some claps in the chat for Kirip here on that Cupid? Absolutely carrying his team. I was questioning whether he was going to be able to carry that. We saw early game, the rest of his team really getting pushed hard and bullied. But Kirip showing that Cupid does have potential, doing so much burst damage, and it was really his ultimate in those team fights, just really securing so much CC and damage onto the enemy team.
It's also the heart bomb as well. A lot of people disregard the amount of damage that a heart bomb can put out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you can easily take about 1,000 damage from the thing. Plus, it's stunned. Not to mention, you're also already taking damage from the normal Cupid basic attacks as well. You've got to make sure you don't get stunned by that, or if you do get stunned, you are nowhere near this Cupid because you will die otherwise. And unfortunately for the rest of Team Loyal, most of them grouped up. We saw right at the end, even both of them were right next to the Titan, and they both got stunned because of it. One of them died, the other one just scraped away. I think that was Sarah Clips. And that actually caused them to lose the entire fight where they could have actually defended because they were grouped up. Instead, if they had split out, at least only one of them would have been stunned. They could have gone back to the base to heal, and the other one could have kept on fighting, pushing them away. That actually was just enough time for BLHA to come back. Would have meant that I believe Kami was the next one to come back as well. They could have been able to defend a little bit longer. Luckily for the side of Archipelago, though, they got stunned and they were just able to finish it off nice and neatly. But it wasn't a neat game at all.
I mean, it was very sloppy and very messy, but that was the game. Kirip carried Archipelago to victory, and we'll be taking a short break here, and we'll be right back afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the final match of today's set, Archipelago versus Loyal, just before we saw Archipelago pull off a very interesting win.
Yes, very interesting is definitely the way to put it. After Dracula V just got absolutely decimated early on, Kirip just had a beautiful Cupid game. I don't think there's many other Cupid games that you could say went better, but definitely for the side of Archipelago, that was good. However, they have realized that maybe banning out junglers wasn't the best idea. As you can see, they banned out Thoth, but they are going straight back to this Thor, so the Humbats is potentially going to be open.
Yeah, I mean, Humbats is always an extremely strong pick. He has that AoE CC in the Fear No Evil ultimate, so I could definitely see it being first picked here by Archipelago. But no, they actually go for the Susanoo instead. They liked Maisie's play there.
I mean, Jimmy Massey was definitely playing pretty good on the Susanoo. Unfortunately, he just didn't have a huge amount of presence, just because Apex was absolutely dominating on Ravan because of what he did to Dracula V. So it was just like, he was always guaranteed to be a little bit behind, but when he was actually slowly getting towards more even sort of setting, it was much better. But here we do see Saket coming out from the side of Loyal, and they're actually going to pick up Ganesh as well, which means they're saying, yeah, actually Ganesh is a lot stronger than we thought. Screw Fafnir, we're getting Ganesh now.
Yeah, and very interestingly, Archipelago, instead of picking up the Fafnir here, they actually pick up Kumbhakana along with Kirip's Cupid. Why do you think they're picking up Kumbhakana?
I'm honestly not entirely sure. It must be something that they feel like
SEA?
they can work around with. Could be an SEA pick, but I think this is more of a sort of, we believe this works against Ganesh. We tried it, it's worked pretty nicely, so we'll try it again. Also going to go for that Cupid, so maybe looking for that insane Mesmerize into the Fields of Love combo with the Heart Bomb as well, or just looking for general annoyance, which Kumbhakana can bring fantastically. Medusa's the one going to be picked up for Loyal, though, so again, not someone we normally see versus a Cupid, but not too bad. Osiris has been banned out, though, and Poseidon and Bellona have been banned out, so we're not going to see the normal Osiris solo lane.
Yeah, and looking at this Kumbhakana versus Ganesh matchup, one thing that Kumbhakana definitely has in his favor is the Mesmerize, which he can use to cancel out Ganesh's silence, so that can definitely be used quite well. As we actually see Jing Tian picked up for Loyal. This will most likely be going into the solo lane onto Sir Eclipse. Is this a common pick here in SEA?
Jing Chan isn't picked up too much. You normally see the normal Bellona Osiris and the occasional Giannis's. We have actually seen a Loki solo a long time ago. Well, when I say long time ago, I mean last week. But yeah, it feels like a long time in Southeast Asia. But Jing Chan, not very common. There is a Giannis, but I don't think it's going to solo lane since it's on the side of Loyal and they don't have a mid laner yet. So sorry guys, it looks like a normal game again.
Jing Tian mid. I'm calling it now.
Kami, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think Kami would be down to do something like that. And as we get into the game, yeah, it's definitely Giannis mid. Sir Eclipse playing Jing Chan in the solo lane. But we do have Dracula V on Raven, which, again, is a quote-unquote normal pick. It's very debatable about who likes Raven in the solo lane. A lot of people prefer him in the jungle, and he is very, very viable in the jungle, as we saw last game, actually. But solo lane, we don't see him do too well most of the time. He does get punished pretty hard, just because he lacks this sort of early game pressure and poke. It's normally pressure or poke by him. So we'll see how he can do. It looks like this time around, though, Apex isn't going to be starting over in the solo lane. He's going to be in mid.
And that's an interesting choice because Apex on this circuit has really powerful early level 1 gank potential, using the taunt potentially to pull him into the Jing Tian and getting a first blood. But instead, he wants to make sure that his Giannis stays nice and safe. Both teams just rotating right over to their speed buffs.
Yeah, so again, playing this all safely. Archipelago are actually going to stop by the fire elementals and take that out first, so at least some sort of benefit there rather than going for the speed buff. although they might think on the side of Loyal that they did go for the speed buff, so they're not going to be looking to do that in Invade, so instead that's actually a very good start for them. However, over in this duo lane, it's looking pretty even, actually. Geo has been taking quite a bit of damage, mostly due to these archers, though. He could get punished a lot if Ganesh could find that dash onto him, though.
Yeah, quite interestingly, he started off with a glowing emerald instead of the usual Lono's mask. So, wanting to build either straight into Gauntlet of Thieves or maybe pick up his boots into Gauntlet of Thieves there. Quite an interesting build choice for him. I think I'd prefer the Lono's mask, though.
Yeah, Lono's mask is definitely quite a good start, especially for that extra health, which is pretty necessary early on. Yet, if he is going into this Gauntlet of Thieves early, that means that he doesn't have to worry about going like taking a little bit longer going into the stacking items. He can do it almost immediately, which is nicer than this sort of you do get the health eventually, but you've got to finally eventually sell this thing and get the stack and start building into the stacking items. So slightly fast build potentially is just a little bit riskier for Geo. If he does get it out and pays off, that'll be fantastic. If not, it could be pretty devastating for him.
We actually see a lucky Janus portal there getting Kami right out of danger. A lot of grouping on this left side of the map. Solo lane largely just left to its own devices, and we actually see Dracula going ahead and bullying the Jingtian. I mean, Jingtian is not known to be an early game pick at all, so I'm not surprised to see Dracula doing the bullying this match, especially since he doesn't have a random jungler just constantly berating him. As we actually see Geo taking a lot of damage. This build is definitely making him a lot weaker in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot weaker. If we have a quick look, it's about... I mean, currently Lona's mask is giving Bill HK about 80 health compared to the now 200 health Geo has with the Emerald Talisman. So now Geo will start to get a little bit better, especially with that HP regeneration, and he also has that built-in MP5, so this could look a little bit nicer for Geo, but Dracula actually gets a kill on Seric's Clips.
Just first blood, we weren't even looking at it, we were too busy looking at the builds. And
that was
I mean,
nice
first blood onto Dracula. Yep, just a clean first blood on a Raven, just what you would expect from a Raven up against a Jing Tian. But going back to the build here on the support, just because it's so interesting, he has actually gone into Emerald Talisman, which I believe actually builds into the
Stone of Gaia.
Stone of Gaia, that's it. And that's an interesting pickup.
Carrot though. Gotta be very careful here.
Ultimate out, he is 100% dead there. No chance of surviving. Apex getting a really nice gank attempt over onto the duo lane, and the rest of his team actually came in to back him up just in case he needed help securing that kill, but being a Socket, he was so incredibly mobile, picking up that kill with ease.
Yeah, I mean, that was a last breath, that was also Petrify, and Kami used his ultimate as well, so through space and time even used to try and get that kill. I think that might have actually been a tiny bit of a win for Archipelago, using so much, but since Archipelago haven't actually gone in and tried to do anything with all of those ultimates being down, it's sort of ended up being a stalemate, and Loyal have taken it back again. Like Dracula, a little bit careful here. Doesn't know Apex is here, might have actually just spotted him out taking his own speed buff, so luckily he is going to be able to get out safely. If he'd gone for that blue, that could have been pretty much death for him.
I mean, I think the reason they went so hard onto Cupid there is just because of last game's performance. They do not want to allow that Cupid free reign over there in the duo lane, and that's why they picked up this Medusa, which is a lot more capable in the early game and will be able to challenge this Cupid in terms of ability damage, but also have a lot better in-hands in the late game.
Yeah, so now this game feels a lot quieter compared to the 3 kills before 3-minute mark. Because actually, Typhoon's going to come out onto Bill HK, going to be able to do a nice amount of damage there. Dharmic Pillar's used to force him away. Now Jimmy Massey's on his own. In the solo lane, though, Dracula V's just forcing Sericlips out, making sure he can't join in this fight. Otherwise, that could have been very deadly for Jimmy Massey as he just used Purification.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming in from that Ravana. Dracula seeming a lot more comfortable on this pick, or whether or not it's just the fact that he didn't actually have any harassment in the solo lane, but Slicey actually picking up a kill onto Kami. That's really good to get an early kill onto that Zeus. Zeus late game is just an absolute monster, but early on, he's not quite as potent, so seeing him get that first kill onto Kami for that mid lane matchup is really nice.
Yeah, definitely is. However, back in the solo lane again, Dracula V's taking quite a bit of damage from Solar Eclipse here. He does have his ultimate, so that could be a little bit nasty. Luckily, the route used from Dracula actually to stop the hook slam route from the side of Solar Eclipse. So again, just playing this very safely compared to the last time. He got absolutely destroyed when he was playing a little too aggressive on Bologna, and it cost him dearly. So instead, trying to make sure he's going to play it safe, does get a first blood at least, yet he's going for another very interesting build, so the Dracula V strats are still able to happen. Heavy Hammer and Fatalis hasn't actually finished a tier 3 item yet,
No.
but
Stop
knowing
it.
where those are going
Dracula.
is pretty nasty.
Dracula, what are you doing? That build is... No offense, it's quite gross to look at. I mean, sure, Fatalis and Heavy Hammer is going to be quite capable, as we see both ultimates coming up from the Hunters, and Apex actually jumping in through space and time. Used once again, here manages to use the beats to try and get away from Apex, but there's no way he's getting away. Once again, a lot of focus coming out from Team Loyal onto this duo lane, as we see Macy throwing out the Typhoon there, trying to pick up Apex. Apex somehow alive, but the teleport thrown out for the damage, and Slicey actually picking up Kami in response now. This Zeus is able to do a lot of damage with his detonations. The ultimate coming out from Geodude, focusing down this Ganesh, and yes, Slicey comes in with the detonate. Zeus with 3 kills.
Yeah, and that's going to make it, that's going to let them be able to start up this Gold Fury, because the only one that's able to really contest is Solar Eclipse, who's over in the solo lane. He does have teleport, but I don't think he's going to really want to try and go up against 3 of them, especially with a fed Zeus now. It's already on half HP. Six Hook is here though.
No, he's not really going to have any chance of stealing that, especially with the Mesmerize coming out. Actually forced out his beads there. So that's another just extra win for Archipelago. But back to what I was saying before, I don't like Dracula's build. I didn't like it last game either, though it was manageable. This build I'm just not liking the look of.
Loyal didn't like Dracula V's build after either, it seems. They tried chasing him down the entire lane. Unfortunately, though, he did have his ultimate up, so just dived in and just ran away, so didn't have to worry about the rest of Team Loyal. Dracula V's doing a very interesting build, as we said. This Hasten Fatalis very early on, going to make him lack a lot of physical power. Still not entirely sure whether this Heavy Hammer will go into a Frostbound or a Runeforge, but it's most likely a Frostbound.
To synergize with the Hasten Fatalis, he should be going into the Frostbound. Even though I don't agree with the build, there is some synergy involved with Hasten Fatalis and Frostbound. Usually, you know, kept towards Duel in that 1v1 scenario, having that is quite effective. As we see Geodude taking a lot of damage, the silence coming out onto him. Janice's Twin Balls of Death trying to be thrown out there, but not doing quite enough damage there, and Macy is just there to make sure his support doesn't die.
Yeah, now Loyal's rotated towards the Gold Fury. Realizes it's not done, it's down, but at least they get the Oracles. Fire Elemental's going to go the other way towards Archipelago. So again, these teams are just sort of slowly trading out. If we go have a quick look at the graphs, you can see nearly a K gold difference in favor of Archipelago and about 1.2k in favor as well. This is not down and out for Team Loyal. They are definitely behind, but as long as they can put some pressure, especially onto Slicey, as he is a Zeus still, he cannot run away that easily. As long as you have a lot of pressure onto him, he can die very quickly. You do probably need to take out Geo first, though, to be able to get to it.
As we see Ganesh taking quite a bit of damage here. Geo trying to dive onto the tower to see if he can pick up a kill for his team, but he's going to instead wait. And Dharmic Pillars are thrown out quite early into this fight. Geodude taking that tower right up. Apex does manage to pick off Slicey early in that team fight. That means all that Zeus damage is not going to happen. And Geodude's passive is forced out, and Seraclips picks up that kill as well. Now we see Janice using a teleport to get his team through, and they're chasing down Jim Macy here. Apex actually missing the dash, but using the ultimate to secure that guaranteed, and now Kirip, he's got a Jing Tian behind him. Seraclips is now battling down on him, but he doesn't seem to think he can pick up that kill, which is quite strange, considering the rest of his team was there with him.
I don't think he could really go into that, especially looking how low Apex is and the fact that Seraclips had very little mana. Kirip, though, is on his own here. Dracula V has rotated over, actually. Kami going to do what he can. Actually going to get blown up by Dracula V. Now chasing down Bill HK as Kirip falls down to 6 hook. Apex going to get a nice madness onto Bill to make sure he stays alive a little bit longer, but Dracula V is still chasing, going to be able to get a double kill. Looking for the under the tower dive onto 6 hook. Does have his dash up very soon, looking for purification. Actually forced Dracula V going to be the one to go down instead, as Apex now finishes off by Slicey. That was a little too hard by Dracula. Please. Please don't do that.
I'm quite in shock. I mean, with that build specifically, there's no way that you should be diving a tower. I mean, sure, you have the catch-up potential with the Fatalis, but you're nowhere near tanky enough compared to something like a Steel May on the Jing 10 here. Solar Eclipse is just building a lot more standard and honestly a lot more effectively.
Yeah, like the Solar Eclipse is just going to be doing a lot of team fight damage, but Dracula V is actually doing a pretty good job. He's sort of accepting the fact that Raven isn't the best solo laner. He's not a fantastic frontliner. He can do a decent amount of sort of supporting, but he's only got that root and the slow, and that's it. So instead, he's looking for these really odd sort of, I'm going to dive tower kills, I'm going to go and try and wreck your face, and I'm going to tilt you, rather than looking for the, I'm going to make sure you can't do anything to the rest of my team. And again, look at what he's building into. That's either going to be a Witchblade or an Adventurer's Blade, most likely. I don't think it'd be a Relic Dagger, but it could be possible as well. I'm guessing a Witchblade, though.
I think Wingblade, to be honest. I think the Wingblade would be quite nice here, just giving him a lot of potential to get out of those slows. But we'll have to see what he builds into. Definitely a lot of options with his build there, though the build itself is not particularly good, as we see Dracula once again frontlining for his team with this Fatalis, trying to catch up onto enemies. He actually goes ahead and starts attacking Bill HK, but now the pillars are thrown out there. The Medusa ultimate thrown out as well. ADCs both picking up a kill each respectively. And now we see Archipelago just grouping up here, seeing which enemy they want to go ahead and go onto. But Dracula just taking so much damage.
Yeah, he's really taking a lot of damage right now. Kami is full HP, not too much mana. Gold Fury potentially for Archipelago? No, good call. They don't want to go for that. For a minute, I thought they'd started it up and I was getting very confused. Geo actually going to spot Solar Eclipse out, use the Mesmerize to keep himself a little bit of distance. But Slicey is very close. The slow has actually helped him a little bit more, forcing Solar Eclipse to run away. But Gold Fury now started by Team Loyal instead.
Yeah, as we see Loyal trying to burst down that Gold Fury. They do indeed get it, and also Geodude is gets the ultimate from the circuit onto him. But luckily, he and Slicey don't die there, so it's just a free Gold Fury for Loyal, which is very good for them. As we see, gold difference they are now 1,000 ahead, whilst XP they are only 700.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how Archipelago were in the lead very early on. Now it's suddenly gone back the other way towards Team Loyal. We saw this exact thing last time around, where Loyal were ahead, but Archipelago slowly clawed it back, and it was enough to actually win them the game towards the end of it, especially with Carrick just doing nuts. However, on the side of Team Loyal, I don't see a particular person saying, yes, that'll be the one to carry, except maybe Sixook, who has yet to die and is sitting at 3-0-4. Yeah, I haven't really seen him properly be in that carry role. He's just mostly there doing a lot of damage. If we go and have a look at the player damage, he's the top in his team. Not quite top in the game, but very close. Yeah, I just don't feel like he's doing enough to really say, yes, he will absolutely destroy this side of Archipelago.
I mean, in the late game, Archipelago has a lot stronger late game composition than they did last time, as we see this engagement near the 2-2 tower in the mid lane. We actually see Geo just absolutely course out, passive, just instantly forced. Sixu picking up that kill. This Medusa, as you said, is actually starting to get online right now. We actually see the Janus ultimate to no effect there. Zeus throws out his shield to try and see if he can zone them away, and it does successfully zone them out. Dracula, why? Why are you up there, Dracula?
I don't know why he's up there. I think he does have his tube to try and get away from this, but everyone else on the side of Loyal is around there, and I hate you for that joke. I feel like I'm Velocity in this little match up here.
Well, I mean, you can't deny that I was going to make that joke at some point in this cast with someone called Dracula on the team, as we see the Portal Demon actually gets, taken by Team Loyal there. A really big win for them. The Dharma Kill is actually thrown out as well, but looks like Macy, he's still trying to chase down some of these kills, but it doesn't look like he's going to manage. Solar Eclipse actually getting fought down on, but he managed to jump away.
Yep, unfortunately for the side of Archipelago, they were milliseconds too late. Jimmy Massey had a beautiful Typhoon, which actually knocked up Sixook, who took so much damage from the Portal Demon. Yet, they were just too far away for Massey to actually try and chase down, and now this is a bad look for Loyal. They've already ran away from this Fire Giant. They thought Loyal was going to go get it. Instead, now Loyal are going to try and look around, see if they can get any sort of extra kills, and start looking for some of the pressure in lane, because that's really what they need back. They do have the gold lead, and they have the experience lead, although it's very, very minimal. They need to be looking for the pressure lead instead, because currently Archipelago have that. They have the mid-tier 1 tower down, same as Team Loyal, but they also have this solo lane down, which means that suddenly you feel like you don't want to go too far up towards that Fire Giant, just in case the side of Archipelago are rotating around and coming up behind you. So instead, that means Loyal needs to be looking for at least the tier 1 tower on the Gold Jury side, or looking for it maybe on the solo side itself as well, just to try and make it a little bit even.
Yeah, they definitely need to be starting to focus some objectives here. I want to see that Medusa try and split push as much as possible, as you see the Giannis ultimate coming into this duo lane. It looks like they might actually try and get some of that pressure that I was mentioning on this tier 1 in the duo lane. All 5 of Loyal are actually grouped up here, apart from Jin Tian, who just teleports right into the fight. You can see, Gio trying to find some sort of mez here, but it doesn't actually successfully find it. The Decision ultimate knock up into Gio's knock up himself. Apex is extremely low. Shell forced out there onto him to make sure he stays alive, and now Gio's actually in quite a precarious situation. He does manage to have immunity from that pool there and manages to get away, but Loyal is really hunting down for this tower. Dracula is out for some blood, as I said before, but now we see Six's ultimate forced to make him go away. Gio now forces the med out to get some CC onto the enemy, really staving off Loyal's siege here.
Yeah, now Dracula V did actually just use his blink to try and go in. Luckily, a sprint was plopped on the side of Team Loyal to make sure Kami could escape.
Of course he did.
Now, again, Loyal is actually coming back. Apex is already back into this team fight. Jimmy Massey and Kirip are nowhere nearby. This is going to be bad for the side of Archipelago.
As we see the chasing down Slicey, that Zeus is going to have no effect if he's just going to go ahead and die straight away. That tower is almost down as well. Kami actually really low here, using the Aegis and somehow is alive, but no! Kira picks up that kill with an in-hand, and now he heals himself along with his team. Gio is extremely low himself and actually does get picked off by Apex. Apex, but has the heart bomb, and bam, he blows up. Kira just doing so well on this Cupid pick, but Sixer responds.
Oh, Kirib's got a triple kill right now. He's looking for the quad, maybe. Kirib is going to find the stun. Looking for one more base. He's going to be using the dash away. He wants to get out now. He doesn't have any hits.
I don't believe.
Oh, it could have been a penta. No. Please, Kirib. Why wasn't it a penta?
I mean, there was just too much body blocking coming out from Seraclips there. He should have just backed off at that point. It was just a waste of his life. I know the Pentadream. I've felt it many a time, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it, but it could have been amazing. Unfortunately, Kira dashing into the wall there, then deciding to go back in, even though he has only a death's toll to try and keep him sustained. It was enough for a while. Unfortunately, it's not enough to go 1 versus 2, especially against a very tanky Seraclip Mystical Male. But Archipelago are still keeping this game even. Goes back to the grass. 1.7k gold lead. 500 experience lead, not like 50k, not 5,000, 500 experience lead for the side of Team Loyal. This is basically a negligible, I got it right this time, negligible difference between the side of Team Loyal. Sorry, that's a little bit of in joke between me and Woofin. But looks like Loyal now really want to start up this Fire Giant. And they've already got that down to a third HP even, and looks like it's going to be bad for them.
Unfortunately, Kirip does actually waste his ultimate there, and Apex and Sixu and Apex pick up 3 kills there. Loyal responding extremely well, and now they're going to actually go ahead and continue onto this Fire Giant as long as Seraclips doesn't accidentally die to the damage from him. They are going to pick this up, unless Dracula. Oh, okay, no. Dracula didn't decide to go in there. I mean... If Dracula
for a moment, I thought he was going to go in, instead deciding to just run away. Nice use of Kami not using the threshold to try and slow Dracula, since he does have that wing blade. Unfortunately, though, Dracula not going to be able to get anywhere. Actually using the ultimate over the wall. Apex is going to chase, finding the madness, looking for a little bit more damage, finally getting it with the Death Bane. Now the tier 2 tower in middle is going to fall. Meanwhile, Sixx actually rotated over to this right-hand side, so they're going to be taking out the solo lane tier 1 at least, maybe even the solo lane tier 2. However, Archipelago did try and stop that tier 2 tower falling a little bit longer.
Now, not only is Dracula's build really quite bad, and he's getting extremely punished for it in these team fights, as we see actually Sarah Eclipse getting killed there. I'm really liking the Emperor's Armor pickup here onto Bill, because what their team needed to do earlier on was to pick up these towers, and that Emperor's Armor has really helped them siege up.
Yeah, it's definitely helping them now. It's not a huge help. Again, a lot of people sometimes overestimate what Emperor's Armor does. It is a lot. It is 30% attack speed reduced for enemy structures and 40% increase while under your own towers. But 30% sounds like a ton. It's just not as much as you think. It's still doing the same amount of damage. It's just every third shot there should be a fourth shot. If you sort of get my idea. So normally within the space of 4 shots from a tower, you're only doing 3 shots from Emperor's Armor effect tower. However, that's not too bad. Loyal is still actually going to be able to get a lot of pressure anyway, due to the fact that Emperor's Armor just has a decent amount of health and physical protection. So that means they're going to be able to get that Portal Demon. They're looking for this another tier 2 tower, see if they can take it out. Perfect. They actually stopped the Archipelago push on this dual lane side. Jimmy Massey just trying to get Sarah Eclipse, but it doesn't even matter.
HK using the silence quite effectively there to negate Geo there, and Kami does pick up that kill, and now they're going to continue down. They have picked up that tower thanks to the Emperor's Armor and their pushing power, all 5 of them together. Dracula actually gets caught into the portal, but somehow he's still alive. Silence still forced onto him, and he uses his ultimate. Dracula somehow still alive. And he's actually got boots now as well, I'd just like to point out. So he does actually have a lot of movement speed. Bill HK taking a lot of damage, but Sixhook's trying to help his team get out. Massey's gonna try. Aegis popped here. Sixhook taking so much damage, and yes, Slicey does pick up that kill. Macy's actually looking to see if he can continue this onslaught. And Bill HK is gonna fall. No, he doesn't. The portal coming up from Kami. An excellent escape from them.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sixhook didn't realize just how much damage he was taking, and it really cost him. He thought he could keep on going, he could keep on fighting. Doesn't have any lifesteal. Neither of these ADCs have lifesteal. Their builds just aren't allowing it. Kirik again trying to do the exact same build from last time around, so expect to see a Kins coming up soon, but now he's not as fed. He's not doing as much damage. Again, goes to the player graphs. He's still doing a lot. He's sitting at just under 14k. But Sixhook, on the other hand, sitting at a nice 18k. This is suddenly, again, another reverse. Dracula V's been doing well, but Sixhook's been doing well in return, compared to last time where Dracula V did terrible and so did Sixhook. And even then, Dracula's not actually doing fantastic anymore, because look how little player damage he has.
I mean, Dracula... I don't know if it's just SEA or if it's just Dracula, but you can't build like this in a professional tournament. It's just nowhere near as effective as you need to be in that solo lane role. You really need to be not only bullying the enemy team, which that build does do, but you need to be tanky yourself. You can't just be so squishy in these team fights, and it's really not working out for him. Maybe if he had higher damage overall, but it's just really not working out, as we see Sarah Eclipse forced to use his ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually have a quick look at what Dracula V has, he's currently sitting at 65 physical power, which means every basic he's doing is meant to be about 134, 136, which sounds like a decent amount, but you need penetration to be able to do that much, and you need damage behind it, and you normally get a kin size as well. He doesn't have any of this currently. That is just his pure base damage that he's looking to use with the root and one in combo, which means that he's doing very little when he sees Sixhook. He actually just did a 65 power basic attack onto a squishy.
Yeah, it's just really not having the effect they'd be looking for. I honestly think he should just sell some of his build because it's so bad. I'd sell the Fatalis and try and get some sort of either Kins or some defense, because it's really just not having any sort of effect that he wants. Bill HK actually using his ultimate here without the backoff of his team. A bit of a waste coming out there. Geodude is now ready to use his own ultimate, combining with the Cupid ultimate, but luckily for Sixhook, he does have his purification bits to get himself
out of their frenzy pop there as well. Geodude taking a lot of damage here. Looks like he gets rooted there from Apex's ultimate, and yes, he is going to die there. His passive used as well. Dracula's going ham onto Apex, however. That Fatalis doing at least something in this fight, but Apex is just so fast, he doesn't even care about Frostalis. He's just like, nope, I don't care about Frostalis. That's not
Yeah, Slicey, though, going to be finished off by Sixhook in the tower. Kira very low as well as Solar Eclipse is chasing him down. Dracula V just in the mid lane, not able to actually come back into this fight, even though he was on full HP. That's another tier 2 going down. Loyal have taken down every single one of these towers now, and it's almost looking like Archipelago is throwing this. I'm not sure how big of a lead they had in the first place, but it definitely shouldn't be what it's like currently, because Loyal is starting to take this and make it their own. Again, like, Archipelago had about a 2,000 gold lead at max and about a 3,000 XP lead at one point. That has now gone down to a 7k gold lead for Loyal and a 5k XP lead for Loyal. That, like, you shouldn't be giving that much away. To be able to be that sloppy, to drop that's about a 7k XP difference and a nearly 10k gold difference, that's just not okay. You need to be trying to make sure that that's at most a 5k gold. But Loyal get the Fire Giant yet again. Jimmy Massey using the Typhoon a little too late.
And as we see, that Fire Giant has been taken just as you said, and now they're just going to go ahead and back because they're just going to spend some of that gold. They're actually going to get the Portal Dim as well, which is perfect because now they can just go back, buy all the items with all their immense amount of gold and just come back right into the fight. I mean, I hate to hound on it again, but honestly, even though Dracula is not feeding, I'm seeing his play. He's very mechanically skilled, but unfortunately this build is pretty much throwing the game for his team.
Yeah, and he's also on a god that isn't exactly the best for this situation. You need to be a quite defensive god to be able to have something to peel for Slicey and Carrot, which the only person they have is Geo, who Kumbha Khan is very good at that as long as your backliners don't hit them. And unfortunately, that's what your backliners sort of have to do in most cases. Whereas you have something like a Ganesh who can, although not isn't as good as some other characters, is still pretty good with that insanely good silence and also the chase potential of that dash into the knockup combo.
As we see Sixhook really trying to siege this right side Phoenix here, but he didn't have the rest of his team, so unfortunately not able to pull out any significant damage. And I mean, you're really starting to see the power of just the standard ADC build here. I mean, Kirip, sure, his build is not that deviant from the meta, but just having that attack speed and crit is really allowing Sixhook to carry, just blowing up Geo. I mean, he just got absolutely destroyed as Solar Eclipse unfortunately wastes his ultimate there. Dracula tries to use his own to escape, but now he's just going to get chased down by Solar Eclipse.
Oh,
he died there, and this is most likely going to be game for Team Loyal here. Apex actually might get put off here by Kirip. Kirip always doing a good job. It seems he's a very, a very consistent player, always doing a lot of damage and a lot of good job for his team. But unfortunately, this composition and build that is coming out from the rest of his team is it's just not really working out for him, as we see 2 Phoenixes falling down and the third one about to come out.
Yeah, now Jimmy already dived, already on half HP, already dead as the third Phoenix is being attacked. Geo gonna get a nice mesmerize, actually forcing a couple of purifications. Bill HK taking quite a bit of damage. Eclipse is on his own in the Phoenix. Maybe that actually saved this final and third Phoenix, but that's not gonna help Archipelago too much. It keeps him alive just enough, but they are still very, very weak with 2 Phoenixes open. You're going to need to have at least 2 or 3 people to defend this. It certainly can't be Geo, as he's unfortunately sitting at level 13. He's 4 levels behind now. He just hit level 14. Gold Fury has been done. Geo needs to be careful. Although he is sitting at 07 and 6, look at Bill HK. He's on 04 and 20. He's been doing so much more work compared to what Geo has in this fight, just because he's playing on a Kumbha Khan.
Yeah, just looking at this game overall, we can clearly see that Loyal is pretty much guaranteed to win this game, and normally I'd say there is a slight chance for Archipelago to pull this back, but unfortunately they just don't have the time to try and fix up their builds. I'm not even sure Dracula would want to fix up their builds at this point. And yeah, I just
would
can't
say
see
be
Archipelago
careful.
pulling out a win.
Be careful saying that
SEA?
they can't
SEA.
win. Southeast Asia is an insane little area. Like last week, if you were watching this, you probably, at least I believe it was last week, we had a match that took 20 minutes to finish. There were 3 Phoenixes down. They lost their entire base, and yet somehow they managed to win the last couple of team fights, keep them out of their base for long enough for the Phoenixes to constantly keep on respawning, and then actually push and go to win the game. It was amazing to watch. It was hilarious. It was a 50-minute long game or so, but it was fantastic. Whether Archipelago to pull that out for this one now, I'm not entirely sure, but they can at least try.
Well, it's all going to come down to this next team fight here. If Archipelago can hold them off once again and get a deer side, then I'd go ahead and say they might actually have a chance in this game. We'll see how Team Loyal go ahead and try and siege up this last Phoenix on the left side. Diamond Pill is just used to kind of zone them off that, and they do manage to... No, they don't actually, sorry. They just actually falling back here. Six throwing out the Medusa ultimate, but here responding with the Fields of Love, and now Six taking a lot of damage. Aegis, is that going to stop the Harp Bomb? No, it doesn't. Six somehow remains alive at this point. We're actually seeing Team Loyal not being successful in this siege.
Yeah, now Archipelago is going to try and chase him. Dracula V, realizing this is not a good time for him to go in. He's not going to be able to kill any of them. They need to go back. They need to defend their Titan. So they're just going to be able to go for doing that. That's a big win for them still. They didn't actually get this Phoenix yet again. The third Phoenix is still standing. This could be another big defense, but they need to be doing 2 or 3 defenses after this, maybe even more. And only then can they start to potentially even think about going into a pushing state, of which there's a Fire Giant that's up currently. Loyal are looking for it right away. Geo and Kirip are moving their way over, but you've got to be careful here. The Phoenixes are respawning in about 30 seconds, and there's still Fire Giant waves coming.
I mean, I'm glad to say, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Dracula. He has, in fact, sold the Fatales here. I think that's definitely the right idea. Picking up some magical defense. And now they actually, I think, have a chance at this point. If they can successfully stop the sieges coming out from Team Loyal and potentially maybe try and steal this Fire Giant, though it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do so, they could potentially drag this game out to a very, very long time.
However, it looks like Sixhook is going to have to recall after this. Just took way too much damage from that Fire Giant. The portal is up, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to get to it in time. It's got about another 10 seconds or so at most. They are going to get a couple of people through at least, so it's not too bad. Actually, everyone does get through. So now they can look to contest. They've used everything up. They've got their gold. They've got their items. The Fire Giant is on their belts. This is the way to end. They need to be pushing down this right-hand side or middle. They're currently pushing down both, and that could be another bad sign for them.
Yeah, they really need to be grouping up as a 5-man team here. They're going ahead and almost picking up that middle Phoenix, which both of them have respawned. It just seems they don't have the pushing power necessary for some reason. They're so far ahead, yet they're just not pushing through, but we'll see them now. All 5 of them grouping up. So Eclipse is looking for some person to pounce on and use his ultimate. Diamond Pillars are thrown out, but Zeus does respond with his own. If, people stalemate this fight for a bit longer, that will be a win for the side of Loyal.
Oh, Kami!
Pick up a double kill. Huge damage coming out on this Giannis. Incredible.
Kami just had a beautiful through space and time that actually just wiped out Kirip, and that made sure that Loyal can push into this base. They are now taking out down this Titan. Only Geo and Dracula are left alive. They're not going to be able to defend this. This is another game this way going to the Team Loyal.
Match.
1-1.
I mean, this has been my first set in the SEA region, and I have to say it's definitely been a fun time. First game, Archipelago pulling a win after that. It's just incredible. I'm really just flabbergasted, to be honest. Flabbergasted.
Yeah, that was just a beautiful little team fight from Team Loyal there, with just having Kami just rip through using through space and time, getting a lucky hit on the Kirip. And actually, speaking of Team Loyal, I believe we have Bill HK on the line. Bill, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Lol.
Yeah. I mean, after that first game, you must feel a little bit bad after losing such a
Yeah.
good lead. But
Uh,
second game looked a little bit better. How did you feel changing from that Fafnir in game 1 to the Ganesh game 2?
Um, I need to say something. I need to say I'm sorry, Loyal, because the game one Fafnir, actually I shouldn't been picking Fafnir in game one because in that game I'm going to pick an Ash, but I thought game one is training, and every single of my members say, "Hey, Fafnir OP, Brazers OP, try out that stuff," and I love in this team comp Ganesh is really good to fight them. But the
Yeah.
problem is my teammate telling me try out Fafnir, and I'm like, what, whatever. Eeny, meeny, miny, moo. Fafnir. Okay, let's go Fafnir Bracer. Then, god damn it. And after game one, they're a little bit salty. They're like a little bit angry or something, and I'm like, that's a little bit weird. This should be training. Is it? Why are you guys so salty? And I asked Apex. He's from Hong Kong too, so I asked him in Cantonese, and I asked him, is this competition or is not training? And he say, no, this is competition. Oh, damn it! Oh, and yeah. I didn't do really well in game one. And
That's
this is my
hilarious.
first game of Fafnir in season 4.
Oh dear. Well, you actually did pretty well considering then. But yeah, that's very unfortunate. Luckily
Yeah.
though, like this second game Ganesh definitely looked a lot better, a lot smoother. The Dharmic pillars were really nicely set up from you though.
Yeah.
Pretty, yeah.
Yeah, the zoning potential from those Dharmic pillars was great. Though I do have one question. What were the comms like surrounding Dracula in the second game with that build?
Um,
Were you considering
what
it at all?
what could I
Just
say?
the fact that he built Frost.
He's building fantastic. What could I say?
That's the perfect response, honestly. That's the perfect
Yeah.
response.
I mean, it looked like game 1, you did definitely try and focus him, but I believe we need to try and wrap this up now. So, Bill, do you have any shout outs you want to say other than calling out the rest of Team Loyal for pretending that game 1 was training matches?
Actually, I have something to shout out that they tell me to do this. So, what am I gonna say? 1 second. Mom, I'm the kid. No, not like this. Mom, not bring. Mom, bring the camera. I'm in Smite's official Twitch channel and YouTube channel. Bring the camera. Bring it. Okay. Well,
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Bill.
All right. Thank you for joining this interview here.
Yeah, so so that's going to end the broadcast for today. We do still have tomorrow, however. We've got 3 matches for you tomorrow, and I believe that is going to be it's gone out of my head right now. Give me a couple of seconds. It will be Blitz versus Loyal, Team Viral versus Get on My Level, and Archipelago going to be showing Backup versus Orphan Squad. So make sure to come here tomorrow to watch that. Same at the same time. So 8 p.m. SGT, 2 p.m. CEST. But before that, we should go quickly over to the standings.
Yep. Let's have a look at the standings here.
Yeah, and we should see, so Viral are still going to be up at that top, but Archipelago taking out that single win versus Loyal is going to keep them a little bit ahead of Loyal. It's not too much ahead, especially with that 2 tie for Loyal. It's just going to be just enough, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very, very interesting experience casting the SEE today. I've had a great time with you.
Yes,
Just a very interesting meta overall.
Very hectic day today. We've had a couple of technical difficulties, but we should be good for tomorrow. Again, 2 p.m. CEST, 8 p.m. SGT, and it's something like 7 or 6 a.m. for Eastern. So again, make sure to come watch us. If you're interested in SPL, I believe that is on in about 2 hours. So yeah, 2 hours, 20 minutes. So make sure to come back for Thursday Night Smite. Otherwise, my name has been Lord WizKid. I've been joined by Woofin today. Thank you very much, and we will see you all tomorrow.
See you guys.